You're listening now to the Real Estate Lab with Bayut. Hi everyone, Chris Crawford here from the Real Estate Labs at Bayut.com. Thank you very much for joining us today. Today we'll be discussing all things real estate with regards to the market trends and transactions which are happening, and also touching on some regulations which are new to the marketplace. Here to discuss that with us is our very own VP of Property Sales, Fibha Ahmed. Fibha, how are you today?
Very good. How are you?
I am not too bad, thank you for asking.
Brilliant.
Fibha, first time on the podcast, excited to be here?
Super excited.
Fantastic, good. It's not often we get to sit down and have a conversation where I'm asking the questions.
Let's roll then. Let's roll.
So Fibha, let's just sort of dive right in. You've been very busy over the last year on Dubai Eye Business Breakfast and across many other social media platforms, bombarding our LinkedIn's with knowledgeable information. But over the last year, what has really sort of stood out to you within the real estate market, and what have you learned over the past year?
Interesting. Yes. Apologies for bombarding the LinkedIn.
It's fine.
Interestingly, when we look at real estate, I think a lot of us internationally and within Dubai always think of the prime areas. You think about Dubai Marina, you think about the Palm, you think about downtown and Business Bay. I'll tell you very honestly, what stood out for me last year, while I was kept busy researching the market and what are the latest trends, what news is making the headlines, is how new areas, or I would say the suburbs, are making a comeback. And I would say, let's give credit to the authorities and the government of this country who are paying meticulous attention to how they can expand the real estate just beyond the central locations that everybody talks about. I would talk about the extension of the metro line that we heard about last year. It was announced. What it's going to do, it's going to connect the suburban areas that have been very popular amongst the residents of the UAE. And it is going to give access to a lot of other people to these areas. It is going to connect the eastern side of the city, the northern side of the city. And I would say another thing is the attention that Dubai South got last year with all the events that are happening in that area, and of course the very recent announcement of the new airport. I would say, if I'm to sum it up, the emergence of the new areas and how they are going to flare in the coming months and years is something very exciting and new to the market.
Yeah, I think you're quite right what you touched on there. Like the suburbs are rightly so getting a lot of attention, because previously everything was more to do with sort of coastline and beach living, yeah. But now developers are getting so creative, they're sort of bringing that beach living to a lot of these communities which are coming.
Absolutely. A lot of new communities that are coming up are mindful of the fact that they need to focus on giving this element of wellness, green spaces. And of course, there's that famous lagoon or waterside living thrown in there. And when you look at the map, it's in the middle of a desert. But
Yep.
yes, people are getting creative. People are moving out of the central locations to take the pressure off these areas and bringing new areas to Dubai and expanding the map of Dubai.
You've had access to copious amounts of data via the website and research, which you've obviously done yourself. In your opinion, maybe not so according to the Q1 reports which we released from Bayut, but maybe over the last couple of months, what are people looking for at this moment in time?
People are, of course, looking at the popular areas because they're always top of mind. On our platform, if I segment the audience that come on Bayut and look for properties, I would talk about villa communities and apartment communities. And what we've seen in the first 5 months so far this year, in the apartment segment, you have your JVCs, you have your Business Bay downtown there, but people are also looking at new upcoming areas like Arjan. Of course, that has a lot to do with a lot of new developments being announced in that area. Medan City has gained a lot of momentum in terms of what people are searching for and which properties they're engaging with. When I look at the villa community areas, very interestingly, searches have gone up for the Valley area by Emaar, rightly so, because it's close to handover. Some initial handovers have been made already. And of course, there are new announcements. So whenever there is a new announcement or a new launch in a certain community, extension of a community, you see a surge in the searches and, of course, the inquiries in that area. But to me, again, I will go back to the new areas that are popping up. Dubai South Expo City has also gained a lot of attention this year as well. So yeah, excited to see that these things are still top of mind for people along with the central locations.
Yeah, it's funny how the off-plan market works, isn't it? I think you hear a lot of noise for 2-3 weeks, and then that momentum shifts to another part of the market because there's a lot of noise being made there. Whereas in your sort of secondary market, the places have the infrastructure, they're more mature. There's no more plots left really to hand over. So it's just sort of consistent. But in this off-plan, it's really, you need to have your finger on the pulse to try and understand what's really happening within the market.
Absolutely, and in a city that is as dynamic as Dubai, where there are launches announced every single day almost, if not two a day, you do see a lot of attention given to the new launches. And then, of course, it shifts back to the central locations. Then it is sometimes fueled by what is the upcoming infrastructure development in a particular location. But of course, your popular communities remain popular. People continue to look for apartments in JVC because of the excellent ROI. When there is new inventory handed over, like some is being handed over in Midtown City, those searches go up as well. So people are kept busy across all segments, I would say. Last year, we heard a lot of noise around the luxury segment and the prime segment and the villa communities. I would say, interestingly, this year, if you ask me to sum up and trend that I have seen where demand has surged tremendously. It is the mid-tier segment for apartments and villas. We've seen over 80% more demand in the first 5 months this year, where the people that come to the platform, they look for a mid-tier segment. And when I say mid-tier segment, I would say in apartments, roughly 1 million and above. And when you look at your villa communities, something which is 2.5 to 4 million. These segments have seen surges in demand.
Okay, so popularity is still there.
Yes.
The market is still very, very hot.
Yes.
How are prices? Have you seen any shift from double digits?
In the beginning of this year, of course, coming out of a very, very active and a very volatile year last year, where prices were just at some point called eye-watering, they were touching the sky. We've seen moderation and stabilization in the first few months this year. Good news for those who've been keeping an eye on the market and how prices are adjusting, because everybody wants to own a piece of Dubai in their name. All segments of the market are kind of stabilizing. Some communities have seen slight decrease in the asking price on our portal. The affordable segment has seen about a 7% increase in price as compared to double-digit growth that they were enjoying last year this time. In your mid-tier segment, you would see roughly about 7 to 8% price increase. JLT, interestingly, has seen double-digit price increase, going up to 11%. Again, saying that people probably who are looking to buy in the Dubai Marina or in that vicinity have decided that probably I can get a bigger space or a newer apartment, and JLT has pushed the prices up. And when you come to the prime segment, and I would talk about your super luxury apartments in Business Bay, in downtown Palm Jumeirah, JBR, these areas have seen up to 5% price increase, whereas we've seen some moderation in prices in JBR, Palm Jumeirah.
Okay. Prices are starting to stabilise. In terms of transactions, still very much so happening.
Transactions, yes, Interestingly, March was named the best ever March by a lot of our partners on social media and everywhere. Transactions have seen a 20% increase if we compare this quarter to the first quarter of last year, and 20% increase in volume. People are actively purchasing properties. The focus again is pretty similar to what we've seen last year. A lot of focus on off-plan, new communities, launches, things that are going to hand over in the next few years, which of course puts pressure on the price for the secondary market, because if somebody wants to move in today, they will have to pay a slight premium on something which is ready and available in the market. And you of course see transactions in all the usual names that we hear as popular names.
Yeah, so that sort of drives me on to my next question. Where would you say most of the sales transactions tend to be happening at the moment?
We see JVC. We seem to be talking a lot about JVC, and of course we see when we drive to that side. Yes, yesterday we were there for a meeting. There's just so much construction happening there. It reflects in the transactions. So JVC has had the most transactions so far this year. Medan City has seen a great deal of transactions happening, and Business Bay has remained the favorite in the top 3 spots.
Okay, fantastic. And for anyone looking to rent, where are the transactions happening there? Are people shifting?
So there has been a lot of conversation, especially once in this, let's say, I think it was around March, if I'm not wrong, we've had the conversation of a reader calculator reset, and people had this question top of their mind, that are people going to start moving out or look for different places because the landlords are going to ask for really high rents. We've seen that pretty much the same areas that have been in the top 3 seem to gain momentum. People are renting in JVC. When it comes to villas, people have started renting a lot more in the Mac Hills too, in Murdiv and Dubai Land area. For apartments, they are looking at your usual international city, and we see a lot of interest in Dubai Marina and Business Bay as well.
Okay.
And these are the new Dubai areas in particular that we're talking about, where people want to move because they're either closer to their offices or to colleges and schools that they send their kids to.
Okay. Let's say I had 2 million dirhams. Where would you recommend for me to go?
I would first ask you, what are you trying to achieve with this 2 million dirham? Is this for your own use? Is it on ROI? That would be my first question to you.
Let's say as an investor.
As an investor, and you've got 2 million dirham, and you want to purchase a property.
Yeah.
Right. So in 2 million category, what we see that investors normally go for a lower ticket item as compared to 2 million. In 2 million bracket, you have a lot of options available to you in central location as well as in upcoming locations. If you were to ask me, I would say in 2 million, you could possibly get a very decent townhouse in the Dubai South area at this point in time, and get decent returns over the next few years. And this, of course, comes from keeping in mind how much of a holding power do you have? Do you need immediate returns? Because if you're looking for immediate returns, then for a 2 million, you can definitely get a very decent apartment in Business Bay. Or I would say maybe get two or 3, 2.5, I would say, get 2 JVC apartments, or maybe get 2.5 in Sports City and make a lot of money.
It must be quite difficult for investors these days because there is so many options and variables you need to look into. So last year, the whole rush was short term.
Correct.
A lot of people were looking at investing and buying into the holiday homes market, which was fantastic. Huge tourism, huge demand.
Correct.
Now, because the sort of prices have driven up, the landlords are now saying, well, I don't want to actually give my home to rent out on short term. I can get the same returns if I do a long-term rental.
Absolutely. It's a choice landlords will have to make. Where do I give my property to somebody who's going to manage it on behalf of me and then charge me a fee, or I just do away with the hassle of that and get somebody else to pay the DIWA and the internet cost, and then just enjoy very long term rental returns. So yes, the options are there. You could do short term, you could do long term, or you could buy 2 properties and get a good return.
Even you mentioned sort of Dubai South, Emaar South.
Yes.
There's a golf course going there. I believe Emirates are now moving to Maktoum Airport, which is, and a lot of other businesses are sort of driving up that way to be headquartered. So that would have an impact of the sort of infrastructure within that area and the surrounding thing.
100%. Dubai South has enjoyed immense demand on our platform, if you look at just these recent months, and has seen increase in pricing as well, listed as well as transaction. So I would say it has already started to come up as a very profitable area to invest in, but I believe in the future it's going to get more and more momentum and more interest.
So this quarter, we have seen a number of circulars coming from Dubai Land Department. Just for the viewers' sake, what are those circulars in aid of? What are they there for? And how will they sort of benefit the market, maybe short to long term?
Great. Since we are part of the industry, we understand what is a circular and what is DLD. For our end users who are watching our podcast, DLD is the authority that regulates the real estate sector here in the UAE, in Dubai. And very recently, they have become very active in the market to make sure that all real estate advertisement is legit and is available. So in February, DLD has done another round of reminding the real estate agencies and agents to be mindful of what are they advertising on any of the advertising platform, and to make sure that they update all the information available, from pricing, from availability, and also all other details about the size of the property, etc. We ourselves have taken this initiative from the authorities as a very welcome approach, and have engaged in dialogue with the DLD to how we can support them as their partners, because we firmly believe that anyone who comes and looks at any property on Bayut should not be thinking that are they actually going to be able to see exactly something similar when they go and visit the property. Is it just that the pictures are not real? Is the price real or not? Is the property even available, which we have taken care of by marking it as true check. However, of course, it's a journey that the industry is going to go through, and the consumers are going to benefit, and us as industry participants are also going to benefit from it, because as long as we have genuine, authentic information available on the platform, the consumers can rest assured that whatever property they're engaging with, or the agents that they are going to interact with, the information they're going to get is authentic and true.
So what exactly has changed within the website to let end users know that the listings will be legit?
So when, as an end user or as a property seeker, you're on a website or you log into Bayut, first of all, look for the True Check badge, which is an indication for you that this property has been recently visited by the real estate agent. The information provided for that property is legit, true, and that property is available, and the agent has access to that property. Now, when you want to see has this been verified by the authorities, which is DLD, you need to scroll on the listing detail page, and you would be able to see a QR code. Now, when you scan that QR code, you would be getting a page where you can see all the information that has been verified by DLD. So I strongly recommend our viewers and people who are looking at properties that do your research right, look for a property which has a True Check badge on Bayut, and also check the QR code.
So Fibha, on the Real Estate Labs, we like to test our guests' knowledge of the real estate market here in Dubai.
Perfect.
And you're no exception just because you're my boss. We are going to test your knowledge, okay?
Let's do this.
What we're going to do is I'm going to give you a list of areas, and I want you to rank from lowest to highest in terms of number of transactions.
Lowest to highest.
Lowest to highest, okay?
All right, great.
So I'm going to give you 5 locations, okay? Starting at number 5 with the least transactions.
Sure.
You will tell me the location name, okay? So we have Dubai Marina, Jumeirah Village Circle, downtown Dubai, Palm Jumeirah, and Dubai Creek Harbour. Where do you think ranks the lowest in terms of number of transactions?
I would like to say Creek Harbor has been gaining a lot of momentum. So I would say Palm Jumeirah, just because of the sheer ticket size of a property there.
Absolutely. Typically higher transactions, so smaller amounts typically happen in there. So Palm Jumeirah is right, number 5.
Great.
Number 4,
Give me the options again.
Dubai Marina,
Okay.
Jumeirah Village Circle, downtown Dubai, Palm Jumeirah, Dubai Creek Harbour.
I would like to say downtown.
No,
No.
unfortunately not.
Dubai Creek Harbor.
Yes, number 4. 260 transactions happened in Dubai Creek Harbour last month.
Great.
Number 3,
We have Marina,
JVC and downtown.
and JVC. JVC you can park as number 1, that I know.
Correct.
Now it is between downtown and Dubai Marina. I would like to say downtown.
Downtown is number 3, correct. So that leaves Dubai Marina, number 2, and JVC, number 1. So just to run through the numbers, Palm was number 5, 151 transactions. Dubai Creek Harbour was number 4, which was 260 transactions.
Okay.
Number 3 was downtown Dubai, 289 transactions. Number 2, 339 transactions was Dubai Marina. And Jumeirah Village Circle is first place for sales transactions, which was 1,571.
There you go.
So it just shows you that that sort of affordable living area is
The
still
margin.
very dominant within the market and lots of transactions happen. Thank you, Fibha, very much for joining us today. If you're at home wondering about what's happening with regards to transactions here in Dubai, feel more than free to visit our website, Bayut.com, and visit the transactions section on the website. Until next time, thank you very much, and we'll see you soon. You're listening now to the Real Estate Lab with Bayut.